Hey there, welcome in. I'm Jonathan Acosta, joined here by our WGRZ Bills insider, Vic Carucci. We're continuing to take a look at training camp storylines for these Buffalo Bills. And in this episode, we're going to keep it on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to take a look at the cornerback position group. Maybe not as many question marks as their fellow partners in the secondary at safety, but still a couple of things to keep an eye on. Rasul Douglas, his first full season in Buffalo, we saw the impact that he had after coming over in a trade from Green Bay. Christian Benford back, Kaiir Elum, a guy who's playing this offseason in practices with a lot of confidence. Vic, just when you take a look at the cornerback room as a whole, what are your observations?
I think this team is in pretty good shape at the cornerback position, considering that Tre'davious White had been one of the best corners in the league when he was healthy, and that's the operative phrase. His health obviously being one of the things that greased the skids for him to no longer be with the Bills, now with the Rams. So who steps in and who becomes really the number one guy? Rasul Douglas showed immediately after the Bills acquired him from Green Bay last year at the trading deadline that he was ready to be a step-up number one type player. He's a physical corner, and maybe his game could result in drawing some penalties because he will make contact. He will be aggressive with his style. I don't think that's a real problem, actually, though, because it tends to bring a bit of an aggressive attitude to the overall play of the secondary, and he can be a leader there as well. He's a confident guy. And I like the way it rubs off on others. I think Christian Benford is another player who has proven his worthiness as a starting level competitor, and probably a guy who is underdrafted, easily underdrafted, and is showing how much he is really ready to be an NFL starting player with every snap that he takes. So if you have Douglas and Benford back there as your core players, I think you're in very good shape at the corner position.
Something interesting with Rasul Douglas in him speaking to the media during the offseason, basically said when he came over last year, not a lot of time to pick up the defensive playbook. So it was almost a situation where he'd look to hide and Poyer, and they'd tell him sometimes, hey, this is a route that you can jump, and he would go and make that play. He said that now with this first full offseason under his belt, it's really a chance to really get to know the defensive playbook and know what everyone else is doing. I agree with you that with Benford and with Douglas, they have a pretty good starting duo there. So it would seem the biggest question then is, what does this team get out of Kaiir Elum? And it's a question that not the first time that we've been asking it. He had that camp battle last year. Christian Benford ends up winning that number 2 spot. But again, Kaiir Elum spoke this offseason about the confidence and maybe flipping a new page and getting something different out of this season. Do you feel, and we even saw it where he came in last year in the playoffs and had an interception against Pittsburgh. Do you feel like the Bills and Kaiir Elum, they're both in a spot where maybe they can get more out of him this season, even if it's not in a starting capacity?
I've wondered at times whether Kaiir Elum, if on another team, having been drafted as high as he was, a first-round pick, and not producing, and in fact, seeing that curve kind of go down in the course of his time on a team, would still be on the team other than the Bills. The Bills have a deep belief that he is the guy they thought he was when they made him a first-round draft pick, are giving him every opportunity to do that, including some changes, within the coaching staff. And I think that's the other key here is that going to help elevate Kaiir Elum? That remains to be seen, and I have my doubts about how high the water level is going to go with him. But that said, there is some basic raw ability that he still has. And yes, his confidence has been tested. His patience, as well as the Bills' patience, has been tested. A guy that they have chosen often to keep away from the field just because there isn't that belief in him. And I know there's been maybe some health issues along the way, but mostly it's been a failure as a performer. This is the make or break camp for him, or preseason for him. I know they want every opportunity to have him show his wares and perform. But if it doesn't rise to the top, if there's no, real distinctive way that you're seeing Kaiir Elum show a level that he can be trusted to get more snaps than less, that to me is going to be an indicator that they just might, at the final cuts, say, okay, we've got to just cut our losses here. But overall, he's getting every opportunity, more than I think other players in this situation would get to survive.
Cornerback, certainly a position the Bills hope is one of the strengths of their defense this year. Training camp gets underway July 24th over at St. John Fisher in Pittsburgh. Vic, thank you so much for joining us.